Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and you're in the Prog Corner. And hey, if you're tuning in for the first time, you have absolutely clicked onto a winner today as we look at the top 25 prog songs by non-prog artists. So that means there's not going to be Kate Bush on this list. She's prog. Kansas Sticks. Get over it, man. They're prog bands. Muse, Radiohead, prog. How about Uriah Heep and Deep Purple? Forget about it. They're prog, man. The Flaming Lips. Yeah, they're prog to me. Ambrosia's first two albums, definitely prog. They're not going to be on here. Split Enz, their first album was prog. I'm not looking at prog albums by non-prog bands because a lot of bands change their styles over time. ELO, not including them. 10cc, XTC, Talking Heads, Talk, not including any of them. Chicago, Supertramp, get over it, man. Those are prog bands. Traffic, Steely Dan, likewise, prog bands, not here. What about bands that, put out that weird prog album in their career somewhere? What about Kisses the Elder or Bad Religion putting out Into the Unknown or The Decemberists with Hazards of Love? We're not looking at prog albums by non-prog bands. We're looking at prog songs by non-prog bands. And stick around to the end of this video. I've got a couple of honorable mentions. I'm going to put at the tail end of this because I'm worried you're not going to watch this whole video because I think everybody watching this probably knows what the top 3 or top 5 is. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get into it. At number 25, it's Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft by the Carpenters. I almost didn't put this on here because it's a cover. But what are the rules here? What's the criteria here? Prog songs by non-prog bands. Well, that's a prog song, and the Carpenters certainly aren't prog. So, yeah, I slipped it into the number 25 spot. This was originally a song by Clay 2 on their first album, 347 EST. Came out in 1976. They dropped a single for it in 77. It went to number 62. And then the Carpenters decided to do a version. Their version hit number 9 in the UK and number 32 in the US in 1978. It's a great song written by John Wilishuk and Terry Draper from Clay 2. Outstanding at number 24. Let's look at an indie band doing some prog rock. It's MGMT and Siberian Breaks off their second album. Congratulations. Man, what a good album that was. They obviously know a lot about prog, and there's a song on this album called Brian Eno that's amazing, that really captures the spirit of Roxy. But yeah, this song here, Siberian Breaks, is 12 minutes long. It's just outstanding. Who is MGMT? Well, they are Ben Goldwasser and Andrew Van Wingarden. Just outstanding. If you don't know this duo, check them out. I think you might like them a lot. Very progressive to me at number 23. It's the Stranglers, Golden Brown. What? Yeah, man, off their sixth album, La Folie, which dropped in 1981. The single came out in January of 82 and promptly hit number 2 in the UK. I don't think it charted in the US, which is a shame because what a great song. It's Baroque pop with a harpsichord. You get a couple little time signature changes that keeps your mind busy. Just a great song. It's Hugh Cornwell, Dave Greenfield, Jean-Jacques Burnel, and Jet Black. If you don't know the Stranglers, do yourself a favor, prog rock fans. Check them out. They're outstanding. At number 22, how about a prog rock band that went prog? Well, the first Dead Kennedys album had a dude in the band by the name of Carlos Cadona, who was absolutely a prog head. He wrote 2 songs on the debut album, Forward to Death, and this one here, Ill in the Head. Oh my God, this cat went by the name 6025. He didn't call himself Carlos. He was 6025, and he promptly got himself fired from the band for being way too prog. But man, Ill in the Head from 1980, 2 minutes and 46 seconds of just phenomenal punk rock, prog rock, whatever you want to call it, is amazing. At number 21, it's Classical Gas from 1968. This is Mason Williams. He was a writer on the Smothers Brothers TV show, but he was a classical guitarist, and he wanted to add fuel to the classical guitar repertoire. So the song was going to be called Classical Gasoline. And I guess when they were doing, the publishing and stuff, they accidentally cut it and made it Classical Gas. This is off the album, the Mason Williams Phonograph record, which also came out in 1968. This song hit number 2 in the U.S. It was produced by Mike Post, who you would get to know Mike Post a whole lot more in the 80s with all his TV soundtracking that he did. And the music laid down by none other than the Wrecking Crew. What an amazing track from 1968. The pre-prog era, but it's just awesome. At number 20... here's an artist I bet you didn't think was going to be here. How about Stevie Wonder, man? In 1977, he dropped Songs in the Key of Life, and it kind of completed his classic era, that mid-70s Stevie Wonder stuff, just so amazing. And off that album was a song called Contusion. Yeah, it's a short song. It's only like 4 minutes long, but it is as proggy as it gets. I just really love it. And, I've been really getting into some Stevie Wonder. Man, that cat played all the drums on these albums too. Amazing stuff. Very proggy. Clearly he'd been listening to prog rock. Absolutely at number 19. Kind of the sister song to Classical Gas. It's MacArthur's Park, also from 1968. This song's by Richard Harris, the actor from Camelot. He had just finished Camelot in 1967, and there was, his singing chops were such that he thought he wanted to do an album, so he contacted Jimmy Webb. I guess he ran into him at a fundraiser or something, and Jimmy Webb had this song that he'd written for the Association, which they turned down, called MacArthur Park. And it was a match made in heaven, 7 minutes and 21 seconds of just fantastic orchestral pop. The Neil Morris Band does a cover of this, and it's just great. I love it. At number 18, it's Foreigner. Yeah, they were co-founded by Ian MacDonald, but I bet you didn't expect to see him here. Off their first album, there's a song called Star Rider, which was sung by Mick Jones, which is really cool. He didn't do a whole lot of vocals. You always expect Lou Gramm on those Foreigner albums, but this is a fantastic song, very proggy. It's only 4 minutes, but it's great, and it's aided by the great Ian MacDonald's flute throughout. Doesn't sound like Foreigner at all. Check it out. I think you'll like it. At number 17, it's Sugar Love's Green-Eyed Lady. Yeah. Were these guys a prog band? I don't know, man. That first album really wasn't very good, but, it came out in 1970, and it had one song on it for the ages, and that is this Green-Eyed Lady song. It's just amazing. It's as prog can be, written by Jerry Corbetta. It hit number 3 in the U.S., which is pretty great for a band that never got signed to a major label. I guess they were trying to get a major label to pick them up. It never happened, but man, what a classic they dropped there. Such an amazing song. At number 16, this one might be up for a little bit of debate, but I'm going with Grand Funk Railroad. I'm going with I'm Your Captain, closer to home. Certainly could have gone with Inside Looking Out, but this is the one that really does sound like prog with the second half build up and the orchestra. This is off their third album that came out in 1970, written by Mark Farner. And the album version is like 10 minutes long, but there was a single that was like 5:30. Which I get because that final section does seem to go on and on and on forever, but I don't care. I love Grand Funk Railroad. Any chance I get to talk about them, I'm going to take it. At number 15, it's Cat Stevens and the Foreigner Suite. Yeah, what in the world was he doing on his 7th album from 1973? One side is kind of like typical Cat Stevens stuff, but then one side is all this one long piece. It's 18 and a half minutes long. It's really, really cool. And I guess they sued Coldplay because they ripped off some of this. The album hit number 3 in the U.S. and in the UK, but it's been totally forgotten about since. I should have mentioned Coldplay. Yeah, just because you put out a long song, you're not prog. And I'm also looking at you, Taylor Swift. I know All Too Well was over 10 minutes, but that's not prog. A long song doesn't make it a prog song. At number 14, it's Black Sabbath, and I'm going with Sabracadabra. There were obviously a few different ways I could go, changes, Spiral Architect, but I'm going with this one because it's got Rick Wakeman on it, and that's all you need to know, man. Everybody knows the story about how Yes was recording Tales at Morgan. The same time Black Sabbath was recording Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and Rick spent more time with the boys in Black Sabbath than he did with the boys in Yes, but that's a whole other story. Just a great track. At number 13, Another band that, are they prog? Are they not prog? It's Dire Straits, and I'm talking about Telegraph Road, the lead-off track from their 1982 album, Love Over Gold, which was their 4th LP. Obviously, this song was written by Mark Knopfler. It's like 14 and a half minutes long. It's a good track, very atmospheric track, very proggy track. Some people consider Dire Straits prog. I do not, but I get it. They kind of straddle the line. They were progressive at times at number 12. It's Rainbow and Stargazer, man. 1976. This song was written by Richie Blackmore and Ronnie James Dio. Come off the 2nd Rainbow album called Rising. And wow, this is like, Led Zeppelin's Kashmir's like twin brother, I guess. Just an amazing, amazing track. Produced by Martin Birch. It's 8.5 minutes long, and it's as proggy as it gets, man. If this isn't a prog song, I don't know what's going on. At number 11, speaking about hard rock bands doing prog, how about Maiden and Rime of the Ancient Mariner of their 5th album, Power Slave? Absolutely, 1984. These guys are chilling on the beach in Nassau, Compass Point Studios in Nassau, and they come up with an absolute masterpiece, man. It's almost 14 minutes long. It's outstanding, and yeah, it's prog. I don't care what you say. The songwriter on this, of course, was Steve Harris. You guys know how I feel about Maiden. Now we're into the top 10. At number 10, it's Alice Cooper and Halo of Flies. Yeah, this song's 8 minutes long, almost 8.5 minutes long, of the Killers album. And this thing really sounds like King Crimson. I guess the boys in the band at the time had even admitted that this was definitely Crimson indebted. I just want to say, man, Dennis Dunaway on bass on this song. He's just incredible. This is amazing. This record came out in 1971, so it was, it was that time, the early 70s. Everybody was trying to get experimental and stuff. There's tons of changes on this thing. Really, really great. Bob Ezrin produced. Fantastic. Number 9. It's Billy Joel. Oh, yeah. Probably the most famous Yes fan in the world. Billy Joel obviously knows his prog rock. He was in a band called Attila before he went solo. And I'm going with Scenes from Italian Restaurant, 1977. Off the Stranger album. This thing's 7.5 minutes long, and it's kind of that storytelling prog, but it's just phenomenal. Steve Berg, Hugh McCracken, Doug Stegmeyer, Liberty DeVito, everybody's here. All of Billy Joel's normal companions are on The Stranger, and what a fantastic song. What a great album. I love Billy Joel. I don't care what anybody says. He's awesome. At number 8. It's the Grateful Dead. Oh, what's going on, man? On their 9th album that dropped in 1977, they decided to go prog. Well, not the whole album, or else it wouldn't be on this list. Just one side. That Terrapin Station song is 16.5 minutes long. It's primarily a Jerry Garcia piece, but Robert Hunter, Mickey Hart, and Bill Kreutzmann also helped writing on this song. And it's amazing, man. If the Grateful Dead wrote stuff like this, I would be a huge Grateful Dead fan, because, man, is that good. I love it. It got me to go check out a whole bunch of other Grateful Dead albums, and I didn't like any of them as much as Terrapin Station, but they're cool. I know a lot of proggers love the Dead, so I'm going to leave them alone. At number 7, it's Sweet's Love is Like Oxygen, 1978, off the album Level Headed. This song hit number 8 in the U.S., number 9 in the U.K. It was written by band member Andy Scott and a roadie. A roadie helped write this guy named Trevor Griffin. Yeah, it's a 7-minute song. It's got different parts to it. It's atmospheric. It's a prog song. Just admit it. You know it is, and you know you love it. At number 6, how about the Edgar Winter group's Frankenstein? This song's only 4 minutes and 44 seconds, but it goes through so many changes. There's so much going on here that it kind of blows my mind. Ronnie Montrose on guitar here. along with Don Hartman and Chuck Ruff, produced by Rick Derringer. The single came out in 1973 and hit #1 in the US, #8 in the UK. It's amazing. You guys know it. The album actually came out in 1972. They only came out at night. The Edgar Winter Band's debut album. The single came out in 73. So that's the correction there. At number 5, it's Boston's long play, foreplay slash long time. Let's call it that. The combined medley of those two songs, which ends side 1 of their debut album, clocks in at like 7 minutes and 41 seconds. And it's definitely prog, especially the foreplay part with the keyboard, the organ, and stuff going on. Just amazing. I really wish Boston would have continued going down that direction. Apparently, foreplay is the very first thing Tom Schultz ever wrote and recorded. He claims it was written all the way back in 1969. The first Boston album came out in 1976, and they did splice it up and cut foreplay, and they released Long Time as a single in 77, where it promptly hit number 22 in the US. Just amazing. It's prog. You know it is. At number 4, it's the Beatles, man. And I'm going with the Abbey Road Side 2 Suite. I could have gone with Happiness is a Warm Gun, or there's a lot of different ways I could go. Only a Northern Song. The Beatles had so many great proggy moments. None more so than Side 2 of Abbey Road. Yeah, we all know 1969. Yeah, this was the final Beatles album, although, you know, Let It Be came out after it. But this was the last hurrah, and it's primarily Paul McCartney and George Martin in the studio, having fun, just creating an absolute masterpiece. What a way to go out for a band. My goodness gracious, at number 3. It's Elton John, Funeral for a Friend / Love Lies Bleeding, from his 1973 LP, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. This was his 7th album, and when we're talking about this subject, this song is inevitably the one to pop up, and people are, you know, they're wondering why Elton John has any kind of connection to prog. Well, man, dude was in what was it? Simon Dupree and the Big Sound, which was the Gentle Giant precursor. Dude auditioned for King Crimson. Yeah, so he had some prog in his veins for sure. And yeah, this is a prog track. What a way to start an album. Man, side 1 of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Yeah, amazing. Just amazing. At number 2, it's Led Zeppelin, and yeah, Stairway to Heaven is my pick here off their 4th album, 1971. Clocks in at 7 minutes and 55 seconds, and I could have gone with the Immigrant Song. I could have gone with Achilles' Last Stand. I could have gone with No Quarter. I could have gone with the Rain Song. There's a lot of real proggy moments in Led Zeppelin's discography. None more so than Stairway to Heaven, my friend. You know it. Written by Page and Plant. You got the recorders. You got the different sections. You got the build-up. You got the fantasy lyrics. What is it about this track that's not prog? Excuse me. Obviously, it's prog. And you know what number 1 is. Here it is. No big shocker. It's Queen and Bohemian Rhapsody off Night at the Opera, their 4th album that was released in 1975. It's 5 minutes and 55 seconds, but there's so much to this song. It's a little shocking how short it actually is. Just proves how incredibly tight a song this is. Freddie Mercury's songwriting, just incredible here. Yeah, this hit number 1 in the UK and number 9 in the US on the singles chart. You know, I could have gone with like March of the Black Queen, but obviously I think this is their, or Innuendo is another one. Yeah, but I think this is their proggiest moment. I think it's one of the proggiest songs ever, and you could make a case that this is the most popular, biggest prog song ever written is Bohemian Rhapsody. Why not? And I promise you guys, yeah, some bonus content here, some bonus material. We're going to be talking about a couple more artists that didn't quite make the cut. If I would have done a top 26, number 26 would have been Argent's Hold Your Head Up. Definitely prog. How about Green Day, Jesus of Suburbia off of American Idiot? That's a prog song. I got a couple more here for you. How about Billy Thorpe, Children of the Sun from 1979? Absolutely. Gino Vanelli, The Gist of Gemini, Side 2 was all one track called The War Suite. The Bay City Rollers, man, back in the 80s, they changed their name to The Rollers, and they put out an album called Ricochet. And the title track is 100% prog, man, from the Bay City Rollers. Insane. Golden Earring dropped Moontan in 1973, and there's like 3 prog songs on there. Vanilla Queen, Are You Receiving Me? And of course, Radar Love. I consider Radar Love a prog song. And Golden Earring had their proggy moments. I don't know why I didn't include them on the list, but I didn't. Another one I didn't include, my last one, David Bowie, man. 1970 drops The Man Who Sold the World, and that album starts with The Width of a Circle. If that's not a prog track, I don't know what is. Anyway, so that is my rundown of the top prog songs by non-prog artists. Let me know in the comments what I missed, because you know I missed a whole bunch. Even though I've been thinking about doing this episode for almost 2 years, you know there's a whole bunch that I missed. So enlighten me. Straighten me out. Tell me what an idiot I am in the comments. I don't mind one bit. I love it. Anyway, yeah, boys and girls, we all need to pray for the Middle East. Peace in the Middle East. I say it every single day. I close out every single episode by saying peace in the Middle East. Nobody's listened to me. It's time somebody starts listening. Peace in the Middle East. Pray for Israel. Pray for the Palestinians. We all need some help, man. And you know who else needs some help? King Chuck needs some help. God save the king. Save that sucker. Save King Charles III. Save him, boys and girls. That son of a gun needs you right now. Save him. I will see you guys tomorrow. I have zero idea what I'm doing tomorrow. But yeah, tune in and find out. See you. Peace.